Welcome back to the channel, good friends. Brian from Apex Auction Car Reconditioning. We're back to work on the C5. Baby steps with this thing. It's coming along nicely, a little bit at a time. A lot to work on here. Let's get back to work on the interior. We just finished up the engine compartment and the wiper cowl, looking fantastic. Now, the door sill as we get in, kicked, feet, shoes dragged across it. I'm not sure if that's dirt that's down in the texture of the plastic, or if it wore the plastic color down to the actual plastic itself. Let's pull that out, get it on the table, clean it up, and maybe we need to re-dye it. We'll see. And maybe we'll work on these seats. The gear shifter has some chunks missing out of it from jewelry as well. Let's get some work done. Getting in and out of the car, I see this all the time, and I want to address that. And is it dirt down in the texture of the plastic, or will it need to be re-dyed? We shall see. And we'll touch up some of these areas as well. I see that all the time. We can work on the seat here as well. See if we can fix some of this stuff. The gear shifter, as you can see there, needs a little bit of attention. Everything else is coming along nicely. We rewrapped the center console. We did the steering wheel. Yeah, baby steps. I think the shop manager has lost interest. She's all the way over here in the corner next to the theater eating some pretzels. So what's wrong with that one? Why didn't you want these two crumbs? She has a customer brings her bones stuffed with peanut butter, so she's done with her sugar high and her pretzels, and she's just chilling over here. All right, let's get back to work. All right, is this thing easy to detach? Got a little bit of a crack right here. Look, clips, plastic clips. What else is new? Okay, and there she comes. Nothing to it. Wow, lots of dirt down in here. We'll clean this out while we have it out. Let's take this over to the bench. I believe this calls for some spray 9 and an old dirty towel. Look at that, it even has a little bit of shine under there. We'll touch up these chip marks here. I see that too when I get in and out. Let me take her for a little bit of a drive. What is in here? Oh, just the handle to pull for the hood latch. All right, much better. Okay. Just grabbed a couple things off the shelf just to see if we can make a difference here. Got a little interior brush. I forget what scrubber this is, just a brush and the penis. Let me slow this down a little bit. P&S scrubber, spray 9, and a B-tier towel. Let's soak it down with the cleaner. I like this thing. The P&S scrubber works really well. Got a little bit of a crack here. I'll probably reinforce that. As soon as we're done cleaning and restore it, I'll flip it over, reinforce the back of it before we put that back in. Yeah, that's actually worn down into deep into the plastic. That's not going to come out, so we'll have to restore it, re-dye it. A couple ways we could do it. Let's try some quick and easy ways first. And as you can see, worn through. Everything else looks good. Here's the crack I have to reinforce. Let's fix this first. One way we could do it is use a dye and just dab it on the area and do a spot fix, a spot repair. If that doesn't work, we'll let it dry, we'll use a heat gun, and if I can't get the color close, then we'll just break out the plastic spray and kind of just coat or paint the whole thing. Let's see how this works. Just for the heck of it. Got to blend it in on the outside here. All right, might take 2 coats, but let me get a heat gun and help dry that and see if the color blends in. Now, obviously, I could have dabbed this into the whole piece, but before I do, and I may try it, I want to see how well this color blends in with the original color. You can see how fast this is curing, and it's going to need a second coat, but you may be surprised how well this blends in. Let's go for layer number 2. Blend it in there the best we can. Let's get the heat gun again. The heat gun really helps to dry this quickly so you can make quick work of this. I'm going to bring you guys in and let me know. Let me know what you think. I think it blended in nicely. If you wanted to do it like this, this would actually work. I'm going to probably just go ahead and dye the whole piece. There's a little bit of wear and tear from the hood latch release anyway, and just stay away from the car emblem, but that would work. So we don't have to go any further. I'm just going to reinforce this, let it sit here, let it dry, and we'll put it back in later. So what this turned out to be is a little bit of dye left over from what we used in the steering wheel repair video. This is the Geist steering wheel repair dye, black in color. So that kit, even though we used it a couple times now, is still coming into good use. Well, that went quickly, so let's work on the seat. Let's work on this, work on the bolster here, work on, that's just dirt, some of these issues, so let's clean it first, and we'll go from there. I've been really careful how I get in and out of this. plopping down and then twisting in without hitting the bolster. So any repair that we do will last because of the way I'm getting in and out. And I blow away when there's a stiff wind. I'm really light, and we'll be able to keep this seat looking good for as long as we have it anyway. And maybe we'll address that shift knob as well. Pretty much the same stuff we use to clean the sill here is what we're going to use on the seat. But first, blow out grittiness from in between the threads, the patchings of the seat, the different sections. Grit gets in there, and when you work your way in and out of the car, getting in and out, those pieces rub together with the grit in there, and it causes premature wear and tear. So blow it out as often as possible. Forced air. And then we'll come in with the cleaner and scrubber. This thing works great. And it's lasted pretty long. Get in those cracks, crevices, in and around the stitching. You could use a detailing brush to get in there. This seat's rather flat, so there's not a huge tight crease that the dirt can get in, but if you have a seat that is really bubbly, get a detailing brush, get some longer bristles, and get in there and clean it better. And there you go. That's what we pulled up from the seat. It needed it. Especially where you do the repair is where you really want to do some scrubbing and get it clean. So the repair sticks, right? Guys, this is all DIY stuff that I'm trying to show you and show you with a little bit of motivation, ingenuity, imagination. You could do this work and save yourself a ton of money. Send these out to get them reupholstered, and you'll see how much money you would save by doing it yourself. And you could do it. If I could do it, anybody can do it. All right, clean enough to go to the next step. Two areas here we're actually going to need a filler for. And the Angelus paintable, dyeable repair filler is my go-to here lately. Bought a couple jars of it and works well for me. So I just get it on there first. And then I take a smooth gloved finger, drag it over the area. And smooth stuff out the best I can. Get a towel. Clean the surrounding areas. And just keep smoothing it out the best you can. So the smoother you have it and the smoother that it cures, that's less that you have to sand later. That will do it for that piece. Let's come up here, kind of close that in just a little bit, and then really be careful how we get in and out of it. Just trying to smooth it out. So there's not a whole lot of sanding that needs to be done before the dye. You can use your fingers to smooth this out. Just wash your hands after that. Immediately after. You can use a gloved finger, but I find without it, it works better. Just wash your hands after, and that's what I'm going to do now while this dries and cures for a couple hours. When you're working on the interior and the door is going to be open for a long period of time, just disconnect the battery. I just closed the door. And what I wanted to tell you is while that's curing, you can mix dye in with that filler. So it's a black filler. What I like to do is fill it and then dye it and then look at if it needs to be built up a little bit better. A lot of times I'll try to put it on there so the fillers build up and then it dries pretty much level. If it sinks and there's a divot in there, I'll more than likely try and fill it again and keep doing that. It just depends on how much time you want to put into the repair. You could also use the heat gun to speed up the drying process with the filler as well. Just don't get too close. Warm it up, walk away a little bit, come back, warm it up again. That'll speed up the process. If not, you're looking at about 6 hours to 24, really, depending on how much moisture is in the air. If it's a cloudy, overcast, rainy day, it can take some time. But this really dries it out. In the meantime, we can touch up these areas. That look hideous, and I see every time I get in the vehicle. Fill those in. This is a big chunk missing, so I'm really going to get a lot built up in there. Okay, so those are good. We have one little one over here. One there. And then we have one long one right here, one long and skinny. I mean, what were they doing getting in this thing with softball cleats? This one here probably came from the seat belt buckle. And this one here is filling in nicely. They all did. Much, much better. So now all that can dry. All right, after quite a few hours, it's dry enough to dye. So let's work on these two right here, there. Something sharp in the pocket, maybe another set of keys, who knows? get it built up in there. And then I take a brush and kind of blend it into the area. If it doesn't blend in very well, then we order enough dye to dye the whole seat, or the seat cover as a whole. Right? Spot that needs to fill in just a little bit better. Right here. Massage it in there. We don't want to get so much buildup that it covers the perforations. And we didn't. Let's bring in the heat gun. Well, it looks better. You can see where the repair is. As you slide in and out, you will wear this enough that it will blend in. But the best thing to do will be to order enough dye to do the whole seat. The seat as a whole, so it looks uniform. Let's get these areas up here. See how these turn out. Because the filler is white, it will take a couple of layers to fill in. That's okay. All right, we'll let that dry a little bit. We can speed the process up with heat gun, obviously. Come in with another layer and a bit, and we'll see how it turns out. All right. Things have dried up a bit, so we can get everything back together. That went up in there underneath. All right. Well, that looks so much better. Getting into the vehicle now, there's like 3 or 4 different things that are now taken care of. So we got rid of the paint chips. We got rid of the wear marks right there. The seat looks so much better. This area here I'll have to redo. It's going to take a couple days. That filler actually sunk down in past the threads, so that's going to take a little time to get that. I'll do that on my own. It'll probably take a couple days of filling and curing and filling and curing. Everything else, like those tears, taken care of. So again, we got the center console, we got the steering wheel, we got the seat a little bit better, we got the sill, paint chips. I'll look over the interior really good, but floor mats, we have the other ones in the back there, so we have 2 pair now. We re-dyed those there. That video should be released and out. So we're really, we're making some good progress on this thing, guys. Looking so much better compared to when I got it. And we'll continue to improve. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. The shop manager, she's finished for the day. She's ready to go home. Coming together little by little, as I keep saying, baby steps. There are quite a few things that still bug me. I did order a rubber grommet and seal kit. This is the Targa. This glass top here comes off. And all the seals, they're kind of dried, they're cracked. We're going to replace them. Some of the trim needs to be repainted, re-dyed. There are some scratches on the glass here, but those are too deep to polish out. I'm going to tell you that already. There are limitations when it comes to polishing glass. Some things like light wiper marks, yeah, you can get those out successfully. Some things you can't, no matter how hard you try. Glass can be a you-know-what to polish. But this has been Brian from Apex Auction Car Reconditioning. I'll catch you in the next video.